ठीक है. Hello viewers, I hope you can hear me. Let's begin today's session. You can hear me, right? So let's begin today's class. But before I start, let me introduce what we do here to people who will join us for the first time today. As every learner of English encounters this common problem of not having a good vocabulary. So every day we come here at 8 o'clock Indian Standard Time and try and improve our vocabulary with the help of the book Word Power Made Easy. It's a world famous book for those who want to improve their vocabulary, who want to make their vocabulary impressive. So we come here every day, 6 days a week. So if you are serious about improving your vocabulary, you are welcome here on this channel, Soni's Tutorial Classes, and it's me, Vinay Shankar Soni. So all those my regular students, get on with your jobs, share the links wherever you can. Good evening everyone, good evening Saket, good evening Anamika, good evening Divya, good evening Gaurav, good evening Ritu, good evening Ritika, good evening Nithin, good evening Komal. Good evening to all of you, and let's get started now. Today I'll be able to write on the board as well here. I'll be able to draw some lines, I suppose. Yes, let me change the color, red, my favorite color. It will take me a little bit of time to develop a good hand-eye coordination between the screen and my writing. It's a new thing for me. All right. So I hope that you guys have already shared the links. Now it is time to start studying. Question number 55. This is where we have to begin, I suppose, right? Good evening Rakesh, good evening Rahul, good evening Sambhavi. Generally phlegmatic, this is the word we are learning today. Phlegmatic in question number 55, starting with the word phlegmatic. What does it mean? When you describe someone as phlegmatic, what does it mean? Does it mean smug, self-satisfied, or easily pleased, or nervous, high-strung, or emotionally unresponsive, or lacking in social graces? Phlegmatic. When you describe someone who is generally phlegmatic, what are you talking about? How do you describe that person? What does it mean when you describe someone as phlegmatic? When you describe someone as phlegmatic, what you mean to say is they are usually calm and they do not get overexcited or nervous, even if the situation can make you feel so. All right? So a person who is phlegmatic doesn't get excited or nervous very easily. All right? So which option do you think matches this definition of phlegmatic? A, B, C, D, or E? Generally phlegmatic. All right. Yes, emotionally unresponsive. They do not respond to emotions so quickly. Emotionally unresponsive, phlegmatic. A nice word, phlegmatic is used in a nice way as well, okay? It has a positive connotation to it, phlegmatic. Usually, young people are not so phlegmatic, but as they grow older with time, they mellow down, they become more relaxed, They understand emotions. They do not react so strongly. They do not get emotionally hyper excited. Okay, so they are phlegmatic. Now let's look at the options here. Smug. What does a smug mean? This is a 4-letter word, smug, which is a nice word, you know. I'll give you an example which will help you understand this word better. You know, you have these students in your class sometimes. When they give a correct answer, they will look around, you know, with a certain type of expression which will be like, look at me, I gave the right answer. Acknowledge me, huh? So that is a smug person, you know. So when somebody is smug, they are excessively confident of their abilities. All right? They want people to say that, yes, you are like this. I mean, you like confident people. But when somebody is smug, they are excessively confident, you know. And they are too satisfied with what they have achieved. So smug is a negative word. You do not want to be called a smug person. And you don't want to have a smug look on your face. If somebody says she had a smug look on her face, it means she had an expression which said, look, I have achieved this. Huh? So when you're excessively satisfied or confident of your abilities or with your abilities, that is a smug. So I don't think it is a good thing to be smug, right? Self-satisfied, another word, self-satisfied. It's good to be satisfied, no doubt. But when it goes to an excessive level, then you start calling them smug. I knew I was right. This kind of attitude. Yeah, I knew I was right. He said smugly. He said with a smug expression, not smugly, I would rather say. I knew I was right. He said with a smug expression on his face. Means he said in a way that you didn't like. Okay, move on to the next one. Easily pleased. It is not very difficult to make that person happy. It is easy to please someone. Then they are easily pleased. Phlegmatic doesn't mean easily pleased. You know, those people are very lucky who find a partner who is easily pleased. Otherwise, it's very difficult, you know, to keep your partner happy. Okay, C, nervous, high strung. Nervous means you all understand. High strung is just an American equivalent of nervous. High strung is a phrase which you only hear in American English context. You don't hear it otherwise, which means nervous, okay, high strung. Emotionally unresponsive. They do not respond to emotional excitement, okay. You can definitely think of Dhoni as phlegmatic again. Whenever there is a word which is synonymous with calm, then you can think of Dhoni, right? He has got this kind of image. So yes, Dhoni can be another example for phlegmatic as well. Lacking in social graces. Lacking in social graces. I can help you understand this phrase, lacking in social graces. Okay, you see, when people give you compliments that your parents have raised you properly, it means you're not lacking in social graces. But when people do not like you because of the way you behave with them, because of the way you have expressions on your face, or because of the way you make people feel, or because of your body language, then you're lacking in social graces. All right? And it will stop you, prevent you from being popular among people. Is it a good thing to be lacking in social graces? No, certainly not. After all, we all have to live in society. We have to interact with people, deal with them, right? So if we lack in social graces, it will hurt our chances of being successful and popular. So it's not a good thing to be lacking in social graces. I hope I have explained all these phrases to you guys. Now let's look at some of the comments here. So many people say this when you try and correct them. Okay, well, I don't know, maybe it is their prejudice. They are a little too touchy about, especially it happens with English. When you correct somebody's English mistake, then they feel really, hurt and insulted. I understand that. Been there, done that, Okay, moving on to question number 56. An inveterate gambler, that is a typing error. An inveterate gambler. Inveterate gambler. Here our focus is on the word inveterate. Gambler means everybody understands who gambles, right? In Hindi we have a word juari. An inveterate gambler. So what do you think inveterate means? Impoverished, successful, habitual, occasional, or superstitious? What does it mean? Today we are going to finish all the 60 words, okay, and maybe there will be a few more things we'll do. Otherwise we'll start our personality type, or maybe tomorrow. So here, inveterate gambler. An inveterate gambler is someone who is habitual. It is so deeply rooted in you that it has become your personality, alright, and it is difficult to get rid of. So an inveterate gambler is a habitual gambler. Gambling has become his habit. The same word inveterate can be used with a liar as well. Inveterate liar means lying has become that person's habit, and it is next to impossible to change that person. Now let's look at some of the options here. Impoverished. What does impoverished mean? Impoverished means made poor. Wars impoverish countries, means wars make countries poor. So impoverished is an adjective, ed adjective, broken chair, alright, that kind of V3 adjective. So impoverished, an adjective. An impoverished country, it means a country which has been made poor. Okay, successful, alright, no need to give any details for this word, successful. Habitual, I told you, it is your habit to gamble, then you are an inveterate gambler, you are a habitual gambler. Occasional. Occasional means you gamble occasionally, like on certain occasions. Like in India there is a culture, tradition that people gamble on Deepavali, right? On Deepavali night you'll find a lot of people playing cards and gambling. They think it brings them good omen as far as being rich is concerned. So an occasional gambler, of course an inveterate gambler cannot be an occasional gambler because it is his habit to gamble. Superstitious. Superstitious means someone who believes in superstitions. And what is superstition? A superstition is a belief which doesn't have any logic. Something that you believe because it has been believed traditionally without knowing the logic behind it. A very common superstition in India is when a black cat or any sort of cat crosses your path, then you do not continue, or you wait for a while, for a second. You want somebody else to cross first and then you go. So this is a superstition. There are so many different kinds of superstitions people believe in, and those people who believe in superstitions a lot, they are superstitious. So an inveterate gambler is a superstitious gambler? No. An inveterate gambler is a habitual gambler. So 56 is over. Let's move on to, sounds good, I don't know the answer, alright. Now we are moving on to 57. An egregious error. An egregious error. What is an egregious error? Here our focus is on the word egregious. An egregious error. Which word among these 5 options is similar to the meaning of egregious? All right. So you guys are giving reactions on my comments, I think here. That's great. But there is a 20-second delay. Okay. So anyways, continuing with this. An egregious error is outstandingly bad. When I'm in front of the camera, my tongue gets a little bit, hard, and I'm not able to control it the way I do otherwise normally when I'm in the class somehow. I don't know why it happens, but it does happen. I think the impact, psychological impact of the realization that I'm sitting in front of the camera. Okay, outstandingly bad means so bad, so very bad, egregious error, a very, very big error, all right, outstandingly bad. The next word is slight, which is small, slight error. Now, it's not a slight error, just opposite, outstandingly bad error. Irreparable. Well, in some cases, egregious errors can be irreparable. Irreparable means, dear students, irreparable means something that cannot be repaired, something that cannot be repaired, compensated for. You make a mistake, you make an error, then you do something to correct that mistake, to correct that error, to compensate for the impact of that error, right? You do something, but sometimes some mistakes, some errors are so big, so huge, that you cannot do anything to minimize the damage, to compensate for the impact of that error. So that is irreparable. You cannot repair. Repair means, you understand, right? Fix. When something goes bad, you repair and you make it workable again, like you repair the TV, or maybe somebody repairs the TV, you know. So repair, irreparable, something that cannot be repaired. Okay, so here you go. So an egregious error is irreparable, means you cannot compensate for that error. Is that so? Well, in some cases maybe, but the meaning of egregious is outstandingly bad, really bad, unnecessary. Well, you know this word, I don't have to explain, and of course this is not the correct option here. Deliberate. Deliberate means what? Well, usually you use the word mistake when, or error, when it happens unknowingly. You are not aware that you are making a mistake, but sometimes people make certain mistakes or errors very well aware that they are doing so. It means they do it consciously, they do it knowingly. That is deliberate. A deliberate error is an error you made knowingly. You are totally aware that you are making a mistake and you're still doing it, a deliberate error. Sometimes people do it when it serves their purpose, they do it, they make, you know, deliberate errors. Okay, so I suppose I have already explained the word, all the options here. Egregious error is an outstandingly bad error, right? Make. Our politicians did some egregious error. You make an error, you don't do an error, okay? You make a mistake, you make an error. Okay, moving on to the next slide here, 58. Cacophony of a large city. Cacophony. Cacophony of a large city. What is a cacophony of a large city? Cacophony. Here the focus should be on the word cacophony. Options are political administration. What is a cacophony? Is it political administration, or crowded living conditions, or cultural advantages, or unpleasant noises, harsh sounds, or busy traffic? What is cacophony? What does cacophony mean? Cacophony is basically unpleasant, harsh sounds, noises, all right? They are called cacophony. So clearly the correct option here is D, unpleasant noises, harsh sounds. They are called cacophony. Now look at some of the options here. Political administration, that's not the meaning, of course. Crowded living conditions. Yes, we do find crowded living conditions in a large city, but that's not called cacophony. It can cause cacophony, but that's not what cacophony is. Cultural advantages of a large city. Now, unpleasant noises, harsh sounds, yes, and busy traffic. Now, busy traffic can definitely be the source of the cacophony, right? Cacophony is so many sounds coming together and making not in harmony, okay, and giving you a headache, giving you stress. You just don't, you call it noise. Cacophony is basically noise. So busy traffic can be a source of cacophony, right? A mixture of so many different sounds. So by extension, the word cacophony is also used to talk about a mixture. An amalgamation means a mixture of things. Like when I say cacophony of smells, means different smells coming together and not making you feel good. Okay then, cacophony of flavors, so many different flavors coming together but not making you feel good. The word cacophony has a negative connotation to it, okay. Moving on to question number 59. A prurient adolescent. A prurient adolescent. Adolescent is someone who is in the transition phase, right? He is not a kid, he has not become an adult yet. He is in the transition phase, adolescent. But our focus will not be on the word adolescent in this phrase. We want to focus on the word prurient, a prurient adolescent. When we describe an adolescent as prurient, what qualities do you think describe him here? What is he? Is he tall and gangling? Is he sexually longing? Is he clumsy and awkward? Or is he sexually attractive? Or is he soft spoken? A prurient adolescent. What do you think of a prurient adolescent? I forgot that I can write on the board today. A prurient adolescent. A prurient adolescent. Prurient word describes related to sex. Alright. When you call a prurient adolescent, means an adolescent, a boy who has too much interest in sex. And it is a negative word. It has a negative connotation. I mean, there is a healthy interest, curiosity about sex, which is natural. All living beings, all of us, boys and girls, will have a natural curiosity, interest in sex. But that is healthy. And when it becomes excessive, especially about other people, then you call it prurient. Prurient interest, prurient adolescent. Okay, let me give you some examples. A prurient adolescent. You might have seen the movie Mera Naam Joker, right? And there was this, Rishi Kapoor playing the character of the teenager Raj Kapoor, and he tries to watch his female teacher, perhaps changing her clothes. So what kind of personality he was showing there? Prurient, right? He was interested in sex, but different kind of interest. It's a negative word, prurient. Of course, so the right word is sexually longing. The correct option is sexually longing. Means having a strong desire, very strong, too strong a desire for sex. Sexually longing. Yesterday, I think I taught you the word longing. Having a strong desire for something, longing. Okay, sexually longing, prurient. Tall and gangling. Gangling word describes those tall people who are tall and thin, and that's why, you don't like them because they are too tall and too thin. So you call them gangling, tall and gangling. When I say tall and gangling, you might think of some actors who have that personality. They come in, some small roles in movies or serials, and they'll do the job of a comedian maybe. They'll make you laugh. So, tall and gangling. So when you describe someone tall and gangling, are you trying to say, oh, they're very attractive? Certainly not, okay? Gangling word describes someone in a negative way. They are too tall, too thin, and that's why not attractive at all. Clumsy, awkward. Clumsy is also about, some people when they walk, then they have some sort of grace in their movement. Their hands, legs move in a certain way that you like about them. And when you call them clumsy, there is awkwardness about their movement. And more than that, a clumsy hand, when you describe someone as a clumsy hand, they keep dropping things. They have a natural tendency of dropping things. Somehow it happens with them. It can be researched what actually goes wrong with their mind, why they're clumsy hands, but they keep dropping things, a clumsy hand. Now you can think about your family members, who is a clumsy hand in your family. So clumsy means awkward, okay, not graceful. A clumsy dancer, think of, Sunny Deol, an awkward dancer, clumsy dancer, right? Sexually attractive. Okay, prurient doesn't mean sexually attractive. Soft spoken. They have such a voice that they will make you feel, oh, you like them, because they soft spoken. When I say soft spoken, this word doesn't need any explanation. Why? Because this word is self-explanatory. You just hear the word and you understand. Soft spoken means they speak softly. Very rare to find a soft spoken politician. What do you say? Okay. Now, question number 60, the last question. Uxorious husband, uxorious. X, whenever we have the word X is pronounced with K and sa sound, and sometimes G and Z sound. For example, when we say example, EX, we say example, G, Z, and sometimes we say exercise. So X can be pronounced with K, sa sound and G, Z sound. Here it is uxorious, K, sa, uxorious husband. What kind of husband is an uxorious husband? Uxorious husband. Henpecked, suspicious, guilty of infidelity, fondly and foolishly doting on his wife, tight-fisted, penny pinching. I think all the options are pretty interesting. I'll explain them all to you. Tell me. Uxorious husband. Yes, Yogendra Yadav is soft spoken, no doubt. Yeah, how could I forget him? Absolutely. Yogendra Yadav, I love the way he speaks. I mean, I sometimes can agree and disagree with his opinions, but definitely I love the way he speaks. So soft spoken. Okay, so an uxorious husband. Okay, Gaurav is writing some interesting sentences here. Okay, so henpecked. Henpecked means, I'm just describing, okay? I'm describing. Henpecked means the wife is dominating on the husband, alright? The wife dominates the husband. So that kind of husband is called henpecked. Okay, think of this. A hen pecking at the ground for the food. Okay, and here the wife is pecking at the husband all the time. You're not good enough, you're not doing this, and the husband can do nothing. Alright, so she is, a henpecked husband is kind of victim, is kind of, he is being victimized by the wife. Henpecked husband. He's patni pidit, henpecked, okay? Suspicious. A suspicious husband always doubts his wife, has suspicions on his wife. When his wife is talking to a man, he thinks, oh, she has got a relationship, she's got something that she doesn't want me to know. So a suspicious husband, okay? Guilty of infidelity. Infidelity. In a marriage, infidelity is when you have a relationship with somebody else and your wife doesn't know anything about it. You're lying to her. That is called infidelity. Guilty of infidelity. A husband who is guilty of infidelity is called uxorious husband. Okay. I'm not telling which option is the correct option yet. I'm going to tell you. Fondly and foolishly doting on his wife. Okay. Fondly and foolishly doting on his wife. Doting on his wife. Dote means when you dote on someone, you show excessive love and affection to them or attention to them. Excessive. If you dote on your child, you show excessive love to your child, excessive affection to your child, so much that you cannot see the mistakes, the problems, the weaknesses in his personality. For you, your child is perfect. You dote on your child. So a husband who dotes on his wife, oh my wife, oh my God, she is the best wife in the world. Excessively, I mean, it's good to love your wife. Who's stopping you? Of course, show all the love you want. But when it crosses a certain limit, it becomes excessive. You call them uxorious. Now I'm telling you, this is the definition. Uxorious husbands are those husbands who show their excessive love to their wives. They are not ready to ever question their wife, even if their wives are wrong. They don't have the courage, all right? Or maybe they don't have the desire because they love them so much. And the word uxorious is used to show disapproval. Fondly and foolishly doting on his wife. What do grandparents do staying at home? What else will they do? They just dote on their grandchildren. When they have time after criticizing their children, they dote on their grandchildren, right? Okay. Fondly and foolishly doting on his wife. That's the correct option. Tight-fisted, penny pinching. Do I need to explain these words to you guys? Tight-fisted and penny pinching. Again, I'll call these words self-explanatory. They explain themselves what they mean. Tight-fisted. You don't want to let go of your money, right? Tight-fisted. Penny pinching. Penny is here a small unit of currency. In America they have pennies, all right? So cents, pennies. In England they have pennies, of course. Penny pinching. I can make them stupid. Parents shouldn't dote on their children. It can make them stupid. Yes, of course. Right. So penny pinching and tight-fisted means they're not ready to spend money. Some husbands don't want to spend money. They are tight-fisted and penny pinching. So an uxorious husband is a husband who fondly and foolishly dotes on his wife. Now think of your papa. Is he an uxorious husband, guys? Okay. So here we come to the end of this testing your vocabulary, 60 words. Now what else do? We have one small, very quick exercise. We will try and finish it in as little time as possible, okay? So what we have to do here, we have two words and we have to decide whether they are the same, similar, they are opposite or they are different. This is what we have to do. So very quickly you guys will answer. As soon as you hear my question, you just respond, okay? Sweet and sour, are they similar, opposite or different? Of course, they are opposite, sweet and sour. Crazy, insane, what do you think? Crazy, insane, are they similar, opposite or different? Of course, they are crazy, insane, similar, right? Stout, fat, what do you think? Stout and fat, what do you think? Of course, they are similar. Stout and fat. You describe someone as stout or fat, they are fat. Stout and fat, similar. Big, angry. What do you think? Are they similar, opposite or different? Big and angry. Of course, different only. Big and angry are just different. They are not similar, they are not opposite. Danger, peril. Danger, peril. What are they? They are similar. Peril is another word for danger. With this decision, map, that part on Nepal's map, Nepal's Prime Minister has put Nepal in peril, has put Nepal in danger. Some nationalist Indians will say this line. Okay. So let's continue. Peril means danger, similar. Help, hinder, help, hinder. Opposite. Help and hinder are opposite. Poor vocabulary can hinder your speaking. Means can disturb your speaking, will not allow you to speak well. Good vocabulary helps you speak well, right? So help and hinder, opposite. Move on. Splendid, magnificent. Splendid, magnificent. Similar, opposite, different. What do you think? Splendid and magnificent. Similar. Both the words have the same meaning. Splendid and magnificent means very beautiful, very nice, very impressive. Okay. Think about Goa. Indian audiences, think about the Goa beaches. Aren't they magnificent, splendid? Or people who have not been to India, think of Miami beaches. Alright? They are splendid. They are magnificent. Love, hate. Come on. Opposite. stand, rise, stand and rise, similar. Next, furious, violent, both similar, furious, violent. Tree, apple, not similar, tree, apple, not opposite, just different. Doubtful, certain, opposite. Handsome, ugly, opposite. Begin, start, similar. Strange, familiar, opposite. Next we have male, female. Are they opposite? In a sense, I don't know if you think of it in a certain way. Not opposite, or maybe opposite, male, female, okay. Powerful, weak, opposite. Beyond, under, different. Because if you think opposite, under is opposite of over, okay, not beyond. So beyond and under, just different. Live, die. What do you think? Of course, opposite, live and die. Go, get, different. Go, get, they are different. Return, replace. If you return something, if you replace something, it's the same thing? Similar. Growl, weep. They are two different words. Not opposite, not similar. Open, close, opposite. Nest, home. Nest is also home, right? Similar. Chair, table. Now, there are two different words, no similarities. They are not opposite. Then we have want and desire. Clearly similar. Want and desire are similar. Can and container. Same, right? Similar words, can and container. Idle, work. Idle, not doing anything, right? Idle, working, opposite. Rich, luxurious. Rich, luxurious. Rich, luxurious, quickly. Similar, right? Next, building a structure, similar. So we come to the end of this exercise as well. I think we are very much ready to move on to our next part, which is not today. I'm not going to do it today. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll start personality type session 1 tomorrow. And maybe I will develop some habit of writing as well, because this is still very new to me, writing on the screen. But tomorrow I have to do it. So I need some practice maybe today before I start my class tomorrow. So what do we do now? I think we should wrap up for today. We will start on a new fresh day when we talk about, personality types. That would sound, that sounds better to me. Okay then. Let's end today 5 minutes before time. Usually we wrap up at 8:45. We'll wrap up today at 8:40. You make a sound, growl. When you growl, you make a sound of pain. Alright then, let's end today. Let's end it here. We will continue tomorrow with our personality type session 1. We are formally starting the book tomorrow, guys. Okay? Hope to see you guys here tomorrow. Call your friends as well. This is a regular class they can rely on. Let's meet tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice time.